So who do y'all think won in trying to stay under $100? Me or Nick? I want y'all to guess. Leave a comment down below. All right, Nick, tell them who won.
I won.
Nick won. Nick's not a serious fisherman like me. Here is the result. $120 later. Let's see what we've got to start out the new 2020 season. Here come the end of February, March time frame, mainly the March time frame. The jetties are going to come to life. So I've restocked on some of the tried and tested proven performers that help me to catch them speckled trout, Spanish mackerel, and the other fish that are out there swimming. Right here, slip cork, slip floats, pole floats, whatever you want to call them, using the slip cork method. This is the Little Joe weighted pole float, 7-inch variety. I also use the 5-incher, but I already have some of those. I just needed to restock on these guys for throwing a bigger, heavier shrimp. So that's what I use them for mainly, is just nothing but live shrimp, maybe even finger mullet. These guys, I've got a video showing you how to rig this up. What I love about them is that when you cast, you can reel your line all the way in because it's going to slide to the cork. You don't need one of those big 12-foot rods in order with like an 8-foot leader and then a 3-way swivel with another maybe 4-foot leader. It's very complicated and confusing. This makes it simple. It does take a while to tie this cork, but it definitely works, and you can get away with using the rod that you currently have. That's the beauty of it. So we got some of those. What else do we got for the jetties? These guys right here. I've got Johnson splinter spoons. I don't use their regular, like the curved spoons, the ones that were very popular back in the day. For each of these guys, I got the 1/2 ounce and then the 1/4 ounce. Oh my gosh, if you take one lure to the jetties, it's gonna be these right here. They will crush the Spanish mackerel and the speckled trout. Every once in a while, depending on how far you let these guys fall down, you're gonna be able to catch a redfish. So around that time frame, the March time frame, all the bait fish are gonna start hatching, and these will match that hatch. You get it out there, you cast into the finger mullet or some of the fry, the glass minnows and such that are all swimming alongside them rocks. As soon as this goes below that school, the game fish are down there just waiting to crush somebody that they can single out. That's where these guys come in handy. I absolutely love throwing these things, but you will lose them to the Spanish mackerel because they got some sharp teeth. So that's why I've stocked up on 4 each, or 4 of each size. And 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, perfect. It's not going to do you wrong. All right, moving along. These guys right here. It is the Strike King Bitsy Minnow. I got 4 of them. These are crappie fishing lures. This is from freshwater stuff, so you got to go to the freshwater section to get these guys. But what they imitate is like a small crustacean bumping off the oyster. It's a miniature square bill crankbait, kind of like a wake bait as well, because it does not dive that deep. These guys, it says it will go, well, it doesn't say how deep it's going to go, but I usually get it down about 2 feet, and which is perfectly fine because right now, this time of year, the Galveston Bay Complex and much more of the other Texas Gulf Coast inshore fishing starts to get very clear, and you are able to sight cast sheepshead. Imagine that, going sight casting for sheepshead. These guys will get it done. I have like pulled these along the oyster, the shell, bumping it in about 2 feet of water, no deeper than that. Because I haven't really tried, you really can't sight cast them. A very ultralight, like a very light reel and a rod, ultralight, that's what's going to help you to get this tiny little lure out there. It weighs 1/8 of an ounce, so it's more than durable or doable with a 500 series spinning reel. You can probably use a bait caster, but you've got to be god-awful good with your thumb control. and like letting loose those brakes so that you can get it out there using very light line. I'm using 5-pound braid to throw things like this right here, but a panfish lure that will definitely crush it in the salt. Redfish, sheep's head, flounder, speckled trout, I've caught all of those with this lure right here. I do recommend buying some mustad treble hooks, the ones that are designed for the saltwater. It looks like a treble hook that's been galvanized, a size 12 treble. You can replace these right here and maybe even beef up your split rings. But you're not going to lose the fish if you're using an ultralight. So in order to keep these hooks from bending out, I'm using a 7-foot ultralight, very fast action tip rod with a 500 series spinning reel that has 7 pounds maximum drag. So those two, in like that setup, the rod and the reel work in conjunction with each other and simultaneously to relieve the stress on your fishing line. So what's going to happen is you set the hook, you've got the fish. Now there's no need to rip the lure out of his mouth. When he starts to run, the rod is going to bend. At the same time, that 7 pounds of drag, which I don't even have mine dialed all the way up, so I'd imagine I'm using about 4 pounds of drag, and they're going to run. The drag is going to perform flawlessly, and it relieves the tension on the line and these hooks that's inside the fish's mouth, so you're not going to lose fish. Mind blown. You won't lose fish, I promise you. If you do lose it, it's because they went into the oyster and they broke you off, but that's why you're buying multiples. So the Bitsy Minnow, definitely a crusher out there in the salt around the shell and the rocks on the jetties as well, if you can get it out there. Moving along, I've got some new jig heads that I'm gonna try out. These are by Strike King. It's Mr. Crappie by Strike King, 1/8 ounce jig heads. And going back to the fry, all the hatching that's going to be done for bait fish and everything, we're going to start using small tiny little crappie panfish lures to catch those guys that are out there in the marsh, in the back lake. You throw this inside the deeper water, 1/8 ounce, perfect size. It's going to swim upright. You've got a thin wire shank hook. So even though saltwater fish do have some very tough and bony mouths, especially sheep's head, whenever you throw these guys down there, it's the perfect size. It's not a big, long lure like the regular paddle tails that I use. It's a bite-sized morsel that a flounder just hanging out, chilling on the bottom, speckled trout, whatever, you name it, whatever swims out there, it's a bite size that when they hit it, they have no choice but to take the entire lure in because it's panfish gear. And you're gonna hook up instantly. There's no need to wait. Like everybody says, oh no, you gotta wait whenever a flounder bites. Nope, throw that out the window. When they hit something this small, it's in their mouth, rest assured. Set the hook, use an ultralight, maybe light action is the highest that I would go for these things, and you're gonna catch fish. Alrighty, we also got some tuxedo black with chartreuse, like it's a boot tail. I think they called this one the Slabalicious. Yes, I have used these and I have caught quite a few fish on them. The beauty of these as well is if you love to pond hop, well, you can also use all these lures that are designed for freshwater to go and catch freshwater fish. So it's pretty awesome. This guy definitely works. It's one of my favorite colors. They call it tuxedo black with chartreuse tail. For saltwater paddle tails, normally it's called Morning Glory. So that's the color that I got there. It's just like a little boot tail. All right, now, new for this season, I saw these guys in the saltwater section. It's Big Bite Baits. Don't know anything about them. I've always thought of them as being one of the lower tier lure companies, but they're producing some really nice lures. Y'all know that lures are designed to get the fisherman, not the fish, right? All right, so as long as you know that, it's the reason why I bought these guys. They've got like a bone color on the spine, and then you've got this salt and pepper, like the glitter flake with a clear translucent plastic, and then a really, really nice boot tail. So that paddle tail right there is going to thump the water really hard because the tail itself leading to the paddle tail is very thin. So we're gonna throw a swim hook This one, to be exact, this is the owner twist lock hook, and it's a 4/0 size, 1/8 ounce, perfect for something like this. They will marry up just fine. What's good about these owner twist locks is it's got a centering pin on the corkscrew. So you stab the plastic dead center first, and that's going to guide you in like one of the a wine opener for those of y'all that drink wine. It's going to go in there perfect every time, unlike some of the other swim hooks that do not have that guiding pin. So these guys, I love them. They're tried. They have been tested. They work in salt water even though you buy them in the freshwater section. And I can't speak highly enough about these guys. We got 4 packages of them. They're going to marry up to this right here. This is called the Suicide Shad. And the color is, where does it say it? Silver Glitter Chartreuse Tail. 5 of them for like $6. So very expensive. That's the only reason why I bought 1 package, because I don't know if they're going to work. But I'm a sucker for paddle tails, and I absolutely love throwing them. I have very high hopes for this fella right here. Last but not least, y'all have seen me throw the Paul Brown, which is a slow sinking. I'm not going to say it's a suspending twitch bait. The original is what I was throwing, and judging from what I saw whenever I've been out there on these past fishing trips, that thing sinks pretty quick. I went into the bass section and bought this Rapala. It's called the Rip Stop, and this guy dives down to about 4 to 5 feet, suspending twitch bait. It's got a very tight wobble, and what they're promoting about it, like I guess what they're trying to compliment this thing, is that it's got a very hard stopping action. So as if you're reeling, twitch, 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 this thing is lots of action, and then boom, it stops. It stops hard, and it's just going to suspend there. My hope is that big fat mama trout that is out there, when I start, when I continue fishing them reefs, she's going to pound this fella right here. The color that I chose is minnow. That's all it says, minnow. Bam, right there. It is a 1/2 ounce lure, so I should be able to get it out there with my bait caster and light action rod. So that is it. I thank you for joining me on this little unboxing, and we're gonna get all of this onto the glory board. Thank you for watching. Until next time, tight lines, y'all.